What's an evil company not enough people talk about? The Geo Group. Private profit prisons. Noah Pharma, formerly known as Purdue Pharma. They are the main character of the opioid crisis. Brookdale. The Senior Care Assisted Living Megacorp. Senior care in the US is fucking terrifying. And they're at the center of it. Abuse. Neglect. Grifting survivors into estate locking deals. Brookdale is evil. And most of us will have to deal with them or someone like them as we're entering our most vulnerable adult years. HCA, Healthcare Corp of America. The largest for-profit hospital system in the country. World probably. Imagine if Walmart owned your hospital. That would be an improvement over HCA. The Susan G. Komen Foundation. The reason pink is everywhere for breast cancer awareness. Is a crooked organization that not only pockets the majority of the incoming donations, but actively restricts other cancer research fundraising ventures. Pearson VUE. Did none of you go to college and shell out way too much money? Or take a standardized test? What is the stupidest thing people brag about? Kid in my class bragged about how he stole an air freshener from the school bathroom. He was holding an unwrapped, wet urinal cake in his hand. 1. How little sleep they got. 2. How late they stayed at work. 3. How much they drank. 4. How many people they've fucked. Hours of work. We should be glorifying getting overworked. Internet fame. Guys who brag about being built different. Sure dude, you have a beard, a full sleeve tattoo, and a pickup truck. You're so different. Anything to do with hustle culture. Wow, you got shitty sleep under your desk? I was comfortable in my bed, haha. A strange flex. What's the worst food leftover? No one's going to say an already dressed salad? Cereal. Nachos, sad face. Salad, especially if it has croutons in it. Fresh salad. I am health. I nourish, I refresh. Day-old salad. I am absolute trash. French fries. They can never taste the same the next day. Were you smacked as a child, and what is your opinion on it now as a form of punishment? Mom used to hit us with a wooden spoon or spatula. It didn't really work, though. But man, timeouts. Those worked. You're telling me I have to sit in a chair for 10 minutes while everyone is playing? What fresh hell is that? While I may not agree with his stance on masturbating in front of people, Louis C.K. said it best. I really think it's crazy that we hit our kids. It really is. Here's the crazy thing about it. Kids are the only people in the world that you're allowed to hit. Do you realize that? They're the most vulnerable and they're the most destroyed by being hit. But it's totally okay to hit them. And they're the only ones. If you hit a dog, they fucking will put you in jail for that shit. You can't hit a person unless you can prove that they were trying to kill you. But a little tiny person with a head this big that trusts you implicitly? Fuck them. Who gives a shit? Quote. I was slapped in most occasions for accidents that I made, and smacked to the butt with a broom for sleeping in on weekends. My parents only did that when they were angry, not when they wanted to teach. It was punishment for the sake of their emotion. I was also smacked in the hands by my teacher with a wooden ruler for failing to memorize something. In contrast with my parents, the teacher was controlled and prepared me beforehand with lessons and warnings. So it was a milder punishment which left me with no repressed anger. Though the sharp pain is still in my mind, I was a very smart and docile child. I never meant to do bad. It was later in life when I found out all these lessons could be taught without corporeal punishment that I felt humiliated. Because what all these incidents did was causing fear and shame. Not love. Not self-confidence. but a fear that people with authority can take away the rights to my own body at any time. I was spanked quite regularly as a kid. It only taught me that I couldn't trust adults and that I needed to hide anything that might remotely get me in trouble. It didn't stop me from doing anything I wasn't supposed to. It just taught me how to sneak around and hide it really well. It also taught me very poor anger management. And that resulted in me having to teach myself appropriate anger management in high school and college. My favorite part is that I got in trouble in kindergarten for hitting a classmate who made me angry. And then I got spanked when I got home to teach me that hitting isn't okay. I absolutely will not be spanking, smacking, swatting, or however else you want to term it when it comes to my children. It hurts them far more than it helps. And besides, I wouldn't hit an adult if they needed correction. So why would I hit a child? I do not think my parents abused me. And I don't hate them for it. And I still have contact with them. In the time period I was raised. This is not only how people disciplined their children. It's how experts in the field of child psychology told parents to discipline their children. My parents were products of their upbringing and the time they lived. I was physically spanked as a child by both parents. Occasionally slapped by my mother. I don't recall my father ever slapping me. Occasionally I was spanked with a belt. And there are 2 occasions I can remember being spanked with a shoe. One of them I remember was for talking in church at the Christmas or Easter Mass, Catholic, OBVS, we went to with my grandparents. Never once did I think, that is the consequence of breaking a rule or defying authority. All I thought, every single time, was that if I was big enough to do it, I would hit them back. When I was left crying in my room, I never thought, I must remember this lesson the next time I think I might do something like that. Again, all I thought was, I hate them. Physical punishment never taught me respect. It only taught me rage. Yes, I was. It's actually more like I was beaten as a child. You shouldn't ever hit someone to get a message across. Especially a kid. You're only teaching them to fear you. What's the perfect example of, they don't make them like they used to? Levi's. I had a pair for years as a teenager. Bought a pair in 2020 and within 6 months they had fraying and then holes in the seams. Clothes in general seem like they're getting shitter no matter how much you pay for them. Honeycomb cereal. The pieces were big, puffy and delicious, with the occasional flat, overly crunchy, sad piece. Now every piece is the sad piece. Pine Sol changed its formula in 2014, knocking out the key ingredient, pine oil. Sigh. 4LOKO. Pretty much every single consumer good is now built to break instead of last. Banned t-shirts, and I mean they don't make them like they did 4 years ago. What's a food that you eat completely different than it's normally eaten? Unfortunately for my health, I eat most food like Kirby. I eat popcorn by darting my tongue at each piece the way a frog eats flies. Dry cereal. Love the taste of just the cereal and I dislike milk. Don't like it when crispy foods get soggy. So I just eat dry cereal with a spoon and wash down with my coffee. Captain Crunch. I suck all the milk out of every bite. Then chew. It's basically like trying to chew sandpaper. But the sensory effects of it are super satisfying. I eat sandwiches in a circular way. Like I spiral it. After 8 years together, my wife finally noticed last week and asked WTF is wrong with me, tears of joy. I cut the corn off the cob with a knife. It all gets stuck in my teeth otherwise. Imagine that aliens make contact with us and reveal that they have been monitoring us for millennia. And possess 4K footage of every major historical event from the last 5,000 years. In such a case, what event are you watching first? Time-lapse of Egyptians making the pyramids of Giza. French Revolution could be fun in 4K. They have 8K footage. The earliest one. Identity of Jack the Ripper. The Ides of March, assassination of Julius Caesar. Or the humiliation and execution of Crassus. Witnessing the end of some of the most awful and powerful men of antiquity sounds dope as fuck. Subscribe, my brothers.